Well, you often hear us talk about multiple threats when we talk about severe weather. We talk about hail, we talk about tornadoes and damaging wind. And oftentimes tornadoes are the ones that stick out in your mind. You think those are the most dangerous. They cause the most damage. And while you are correct, you cannot dismiss the threat of damaging winds. And let's talk about why. Those straight line winds, when you have dry air that enters aloft into that thunderstorm, you begin to get that very dangerous setup. Rain evaporates into that dry air and it cools it. OK, so here's some of the setups that you have. That colder, heavier air begins to plunge back down. Forward storm motion enhances the wind speed out ahead of a storm, especially if you say are in a city where you get the tunneling effect in between certain buildings, for example. But again, a lot of times these can end up causing just as much damage as, say, an EF0 or an EF1 tornado, or for golfing per se. But once we get a little bit later into the week, things will change. Now, we do have some snow in the forecast for today, especially into tonight. You may be thinking, hey, it's mid-April. This should not be happening. But actually, for this area, the average date of last measurable snowfall is April 12th. We're about there. Now, the average above average temperatures dominate for the rest of the week. So again, we will be cool today. We will be cool tonight. But notice how things warm a little bit quickly. Once we get to Wednesday, we're already talking into the 60s. So again, it's going to be very nice there, albeit most of the rain showers will be in the latter half of the day. Here's a look at the spring temperatures. Again, we're talking 69 right now already in Indianapolis, 70 for both St. Louis and also into Cincinnati. But we're going to continue to warm throughout the day, so that by the time we get to those afternoon high temperatures, we're talking mid-70s in a city like Cincinnati, nearly 80 degrees in Cleveland today for that high temperature. So lots of warm out there in place. Now, here's a look at that pattern. Again, you can kind of see the widespread warm air really is going to be focused, at least the short term, for areas of the northeast and a little bit into the southeast. But really the northeast, we're talking 15 to 25 degrees above average. But by the time we get to the middle portion of the week, that warmth really begins to spread elsewhere, say into the Midwest and also into the plains as well going forward, because much of Florida is incredibly dry right now. Here's a look at the latest drought monitor. OK, we've got a decent portion of Florida in a moderate drought and an area of southern Florida that is under a severe drought. Going forward, we don't have much relief in sight, because over the next 10 days, we're looking at maybe up to an inch at best of rainfall. This is fantastic news for a lot of the spring breakers there. They're going to enjoy the nice dry weather, but it also means that a lot of the locals that are there are also going to have to contend with a lot of this as well. Temperatures will remain very nice, but again, it will be conditions ready to be able to spread. Now, faster winds are aloft. Oftentimes, too, the wildfire is able to spread a little bit, actually faster as it goes uphill, because it can kind of put that heat and that smoke out ahead of that area first, drying the area out. And that unfortunately means once the fire gets there, a lot of that area is already dried to a crisp. Here's a look at some of the radiant heating that again kind of goes into that area. And this is going to be the setup that we have for much of this region in the next couple of days, because, Alex, much rain is just not expected for this region. Again, we talked about it. Great for the spring breakers, not so great for the
Allison?
Well, we take a look at the allergy tracker. Things beginning to now shift a little bit farther north. If you recall, even just a week or two ago, the main area, the red, which is very high, was really more centered about Dallas and to Jackson and Atlanta. We're now starting to see that line begin to shift a little farther north. Oklahoma City, cities like Nashville, Charlotte, even Raleigh, now going to be in that very high range for pollen. And it's tree pollen. After the tree pollen goes away, then you've got to start to get your weeds and also into your grass pollens as well. And welcome back. About 43 past the hour. Lots of folks, spring break, headed down to Florida as usual. But there is a big concern for a lot of the folks that are going down there.
You said it indeed. It's going to be that rip current risk. You see, we've got essentially moderate to high here on the entire east coast of Florida. So even though the sun may be out, things are looking really good. Please avoid the waters. Even strong swimmers got to avoid it.
That's right. And it's not just Florida. We also have California. Again, a lot of spring breakers out there as well. But you can see we've got both the high and the moderate risk in those regions as well, stretching from Santa Barbara all the way down to San Diego.
All right, well, it's that time of the year where millions of people will be starting to head to the beach, but the water, well, it can turn deadly.
The Brainstorm team shows you why rip currents are responsible for the majority of beach rescues in
All right, well, there you have it. And again, a lot of folks will be heading to the beaches here in the coming days. Let's talk about the beach forecast, and we'll start you off in South Florida, a lovely location, Miami 81 degrees, beautiful times there.
And again, you have to keep in mind when you have that sunshine out, it doesn't take long to burn. Make sure you remember your sunscreen. Burn time on average, a lot of these places are 10 minutes or about 3 if you have Irish heritage in any way, shape or form. Daytona Beach also going to be beautiful. Again, those high temperatures into the upper 70s.
Indeed. Again, and that key is the sunscreen for sure. And that is all skin types. Yes, even African Americans, dark skinned folks, please wear the sunscreen. You need it.
That's right. Again, it's not just for the burning element, but the skin cancer element that goes along with it.
Absolutely, indeed. But again, watch out. Rip current risk here for today is going to be in place. Moderate to high here for us along the East Coast. So again, beautiful weather. Soak up the rays, but try to avoid getting out into the waters.
And we talked about it also, too. It's on the other side of the country. We're also talking California, Long Beach, California. Beautiful conditions out there. A lot of folks wanting to be able to get out and head out to the beach. It's been rainy the last couple of weeks. They want to get out and enjoy it. But those rip currents are also going to be a big concern, again, stretching from Santa Barbara all the way down to San Diego.
You got Baker Beach, a few more clouds expected there, but should generally stay dry as we move north to Seaside in Oregon. Again, this is for tomorrow. Upper 50s expected. Probably not the best of beach times here with the clouds and temperatures in the 50s, though, there. But as you mentioned, Allison, rip current risk there in Southern Cal.
That's right, going to be a big deal, so please. Well, we're also talking about snow, for example. I know it's April, not necessarily a time that you think about snow, but that's the whole point. We're taking a look at areas where their last measurable snow occurs. Now, again, when you talk about cities like Atlanta, Nashville, even around Oklahoma City, it's pretty early. We're still talking into February. But some of these areas, we're talking about Cleveland, up around Pittsburgh, even into Buffalo. It gets a little bit later and later into the year. And some of these spots further north where you see these dates, it could go to April 22nd, even as far out as May 5th. So some of these areas still have plenty of time to get a little bit more snow. Now, going forward the next 7 days, it really looks like the majority of chance for snow is going to be out west as we get a series of those waves coming back in. But there is still the potential for some into the upper plains, whether you look at the GFS or maybe perhaps the little more the Euro, which is kind of pulling back just a little bit more than the GFS would. Still, the main threat is going to be out towards the west where they have the best chance to get some of that snow. One region in particular, which has already had plenty of snow, is actually into California along the Sierras. Again, we've seen lots of images in the last couple of months out of Truckee, Tahoe area, even down through Mammoth Lakes, where we still expect to pick up, say, about 8 to 12 inches. And this is just through the next couple of days for the rest of this week as those waves begin to come back in. Now, when we take a look, this is looking at central California. This red line is the record year that we had back in 1982 to 1983. We are at the purple line. We're not too far off. In fact, if you actually go into the northern portion of California, they're much closer to potentially breaking